Well, great way to finish the regular season. And I know you already know this, but 7-0 at home. We're really proud of that accomplishment. That was something that we talked about. Winning at home in Tiger Stadium is important to us. I think 13-1 over the last 2 years at home. That is something that we talk about and playing well at home. And I thought our guys, we said this on a number of occasions, and especially on the defensive side of the ball. We're not perfect. We have to grind, but I'm proud of their resolve. And I think that showed, especially in the second half. I think, they were 2 of 9 in the second half and third down conversions. We couldn't stop them. We couldn't get off the field in the first half. In the second half, they really made some plays. We got the pick, which was huge, converted that offensively. And then our playmakers made plays. Big-time players make big-time plays in games like this. And you saw Neighbors and Thomas and obviously Daniels with the 4 touchdowns against, I would consider, the best defense that we've played all year. Just another incredible performance. So really proud of our coaches, really proud of our football team to come back and get a victory and get 9 wins and have a chance for 10 again. Was an important milestone for us. So with that, we'll open up to questions.
It's that fourth quarter, you said big-time players, but crunch time, I think Jayden goes for 100 yards passing in that one. He had barely over 100 throughout the entire game. What did you see in that sense of urgency?
Well, again, I think we made some plays defensively that I thought got some momentum. And then, quite frankly, I thought our offensive line kind of, stood tall, protected, and we won some one-on-one matchups. Became a little bit more predictable in terms of what was going to happen out there. They had tried some different things, obviously, with, dropping 8, and he heard them running the football. And then the pressures, we were able to, start to pick up the pressures and then get the one-on-one matchups. And, again, you may get Jayden for a little bit, but you just can't keep him down.
On the fourth down call, it looked like you thought about it for about less than a second. What was your thinking there? And at that point in the game, did you feel like that was necessary at that point?
I felt it was necessary at that point, that we needed to convert in that situation. And, I was trying to get the attention of the offense, but our special teams coach was halfway on the field. So I had to get him off the field because there was no way in that situation we were going to give the football up.
Coach, right here, maybe around the country, teams are going to see and fans are going to see the explosiveness of your offense, but what kind of pride do you and the rest of the staff take in being able to kind of grind out drives late in the game to ice games?
Well, look, I mean, the explosiveness is in the numbers, right? If you do the research, and many have already done the research in terms of big plays, 20 yards or more, they're out there. But to win games, you still have to control the football, and they did a great job today. Hats off to Elijah and his staff coming in here and having his football team ready to play, and controlling the clock was their best chance today, and they did a terrific job. But when it counted most late in the game, we were able to do that offensively and grind some clock and shorten the game in the fourth quarter when we got the lead.
Brian, when it comes to third down, I think A&M was 0 for its last 5. Was there a specific adjustment y'all made, maybe with Harold in particular, or something else that maybe attributed to that?
Yeah, so we were getting overloaded in zones with their passing game. In particular into the short field, they were running vertical switch routes and then bringing a drive route back that we just couldn't match in our zone, and it was difficult in man coverage. So we went to a spy technique with Harold, and then we went to an old-fashioned 2-trail coverage where we just ran cover 2 behind it, and we just ran trail technique underneath. So we got underneath all of the receivers because they were, as you know, a lot of spot routes, a lot of curls, a lot of drive routes that we just couldn't match. And that we got 3 consecutive stops being in trail coverage. We hadn't run it all year. We kind of had to make that adjustment at halftime. We talked to the kids about what we needed them to do, and to their credit, they went out and executed it.
Coach, last year, Malik Neighbors didn't get off to the best start with those 2 missed punt returns. This year, he sets the record for LSU with receptions. Talk about his growth from last year to this year and see how much work he put in behind the scenes.
Yeah, and again, it's a natural progression within this program that players are going to develop, and that when when it's time, for them to move to that next level, whether it's their sophomore year, junior year, senior year, you're going to see player development here. That's why I love coaching. That's why I'm in this business, because we're going to develop our players. And so he's part of a program where you're going to see player development. Our players are going to have their best year in their later years as they develop. We played a lot of freshmen this year, and there was some growing pains, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But they're going to be better for it next year, and we're going to see that tangibly in the way they play.
Coach, not to jump too far ahead, but as Major Burns came off the field, you could see him taking extra time looking at the crowd before he walked through the tunnel. Malik had tears in his eyes. You gave Brian Harris Jr. a huge hug there at the end near the goal line. What kind of conversations do you have now with these guys in terms of the bowl game coming up with, players now decide not to play in bowl games to get ready for the NFL? Do you see any of that possibility, for the Tigers?
Yeah, I'm sure some of them, will have to make some decisions as to whether they think it's in their best interest moving forward, whether they, stay or go. We've had preliminary conversations with all of our players relative to staying for another year, leaving for the NFL, playing in the game. So we've got a pretty good sense of, where our guys are at. And, for us, it's about information. It's about making sure they make the best decision for themselves and for their future. So we're going to be in good shape no matter what happens, regardless of who the player is. Again, I think we've done a pretty good job. We'll do some more meetings this week. We'll have exit interviews with all of our players, and then probably have even a stronger feeling about, where our players are at relative to the next step.
Yeah, Brian, what do you think that the Heisman voters will take away from the final impression of Jayden today? What did you think they would take away?
Well, I arguably would say that first of all, it's a top 10 defense in the country. I think their defensive line is outstanding. And he had 4 touchdown passes. You throw for 4 touchdown passes against a defense, you put up 42 points. It sure as heck can't hurt you. And then obviously running the way he did, I just think he just strengthened his case for the Heisman.
Coach has time for a couple more comments. Coach, it's that time of year where some jobs get opened up. Obviously, you've been a pretty attractive name considering what you've been able to do here. How do you approach that?
Yeah, I've been in this for 30-something years. What's that, like 200 and something dog years? It's a long time. I feel that way sometimes. This is where I wanted to be. I wanted to be at LSU, and I love it here. And I'm not going anywhere. This is my stop. This is the last stop on the Coach Kelly caravan. And you always go, wow, he's just saying that, to get the right soundbite. But I don't have to say anything that puts me in a corner. But this is it. This is where I want to be. This is where I want to coach. I love it here. I love the people. I love the state, and I love the fact that I'm working with an administration, an athletic director, and Scott Woodward, and a president and President Tate, that are giving us the support necessary to graduate champions. And so this is where I want to be.
Ryan, over the next few weeks, what are you going to consider, and how are you going to approach any staff decisions when it comes to your assistants and who may be with you next season?
Yeah, I mean, look, every year there's going to be an evaluation. I mean, I evaluate what I've done, and I have to look at, as the leader of this program, how did I lead this year? So it starts with me. And then I'll evaluate all of our coaches and our support staff as well. Everybody is part of this evaluation process. Our players will be evaluated this week, and then I'll go through a lengthy evaluation process of our entire staff, not just the coaches, but the entire support staff as well. The ultimate goal here is to win championships, but I also know that the development of this program is still ongoing, and that's an important piece in this evaluation process as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Bring Jayden in to the podium again like we've been doing. All right, guys, if you have a question for Jayden, raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you.
Yeah, please. Appreciate you.
Jayden, right here. A lot of emotions post-game for you and a lot of other guys. I know it's still pretty raw, but can you kind of reflect on what your time here has been like and playing in front of these fans and kind of wearing the purple and gold?
It's meant a lot to me. Be able to come here and last year and really, believe in myself and trusting the unknown. I didn't know what I was going to get myself into. And now just go through it in my last game here. I really haven't really sat down, really embraced what I went through, but I was just trying to enjoy every little moment.
Hey, Jaden. You've been in college 5 years, been a starter for 5 years, 2 different schools, now potential Heisman campaign. What are you going to remember about your college career?
Just everything I've been through in my college career. The people I met, the relationships I built on and off the field. That's what means the most to me.
Talk about today a little bit. How did you approach this? Everybody expects something of you now, right? So to kind of struggle early in the game and to figure it out late, how did you approach it going in, and when did you feel like it started to come around for you?
I mean, Texas A&M is a very talented team. Obviously, their record doesn't show for it, but they have good players over there too. So for us, it was like just staying the course. Obviously, we're gonna have ups and downs. We're gonna have adversity. And for us, just stay the course and really just go out there and see it start clicking. I would just say, that last drive when Brian, Monster dude, I would say that's kind of where it all clicked for us coming out of halftime.
Hey, Jayden, your touchdown passes in the second half seemed like a combination of great pass and great hands by your guys, your wide receivers. What about the confidence you have when you throw it up to them and that they're going to come down with it?
I mean, my confidence is out the roof with them. It's just something that we worked on, the whole offseason, just building that trust with each other. And, for all 3 of them to score in the last regular season home game, it means a lot for me.
Hey, Jayden, right here. The fourth down play where you guys were at 4th and 4, and I think he scrambled for like 50 yards. Just what did you see on that play, and you just kind of break it down for us?
Their corners did a good job, squatted on some of the routes that we throw a lot. Obviously, they seen on film, and I came back, tried to see if I could hit Brian on the slant. The DB's playing good leverage, so I kind of just seen an opening, it was a must-have for us. Obviously, that changed the momentum, shifted it. So when a play had to be made, I was stepped up to the plate.
Jayden, you said last game. Was this it, or do you still have a decision to make about the bowl?
I got to make some decisions. Obviously, I'm going to go sit down, talk to my family, kind of just embrace this moment of, my last regular season game. We'll just go from there.
You talked about it last regular season game. You don't like to talk a lot about the Heisman and individual stuff, but do you feel like you've made your case? Because there's no more regular season games for you. Do you feel like you've made your case?
Most definitely, I do. Obviously, we got to see what the other guys do, but I think I'm going to make my case to get invited up there.
Jayden, you talked about getting all your key receivers in the end zone today. I saw a huge moment with Lacey when he caught his touchdown. He seemed pretty emotional, and not only you but Coach Kelly, and a bunch of other guys embraced him. Was there a specific reason as to why he was emotional in that moment exactly?
Yeah, the first play of the drive, we obviously knew Malik was like 60-something yards away from being the all-time leader in receiving yards here. And obviously, him getting that penalty neglected that, and it broke his heart because that's his brother, and that's something that we worked so hard for. So for him being emotional, him coming in and scoring the closing touchdown, it meant a lot for me. It meant a lot for all of us, just to pick our brother up, and when the play needed to be made, he made the play.
Time for 2 more. Kyle? Yeah, I'm just curious, how much pride do you take in kind of lifting or elevating the play of the people around you? Obviously, you talked about your 3 receivers, but Matt getting a touchdown last week. Just everything kind of seems to be better when you're rolling.
Yeah, I mean, I set a standard for myself, and I expect other guys to meet the standard. They met it all year long, and I'm just happy to go out there and play with those guys.
Jayden, any thoughts about when you go to the next level, you may not throw to receivers as good as these guys?
Hopefully I do. Obviously, they got some talented people in the league, but that's kind of out of my control where I go and when I go. So, I'm just gonna enjoy this moment here, and when the drive comes, that's something we'll figure out.
All right, thanks, Jay.
Thank you, guys.
Eddie D